Good evening, hockey fans. Welcome back to another wonderful show, and thanks for joining us here on In the Crease, part of our Rocky Mountain Sports Report Network, or Sports Network, I should say. Drop the report, where we discuss all things from the past week, or past 2 weeks in this case, involving the Colorado Avalanche and the NHL. I am your host, Scott Cole, and with me today, as always, Gregory Dowdna. Good evening, Greg. How you been, man? How's the week going?
Been pretty good. Just watching hockey, doing our thing, and enjoying it so far. Hopefully the Avs can kind of keep winning some games and feeling good. That's going to be the important part. Is with so many injuries, I hope these guys can get healthy. I hope they can feel the way they need to feel to keep busting out some wins. But otherwise, I've been doing good. Just kind of the usual.
Yeah, I hear you, man. I totally get it. The injury bug is biting the Avalanche pretty hard right now. Hopefully, like you said, they'll bounce back from it. We'll dive into the injuries a little bit later in the show. As we all know, Darcy Kemper went out with an upper body, or was it a lower body injury?
Yes, lower body injury.
Lower body injury. Kale McCarr's was a healthy with a scratch tonight for the game in Ottawa, and Bo Byram is unfortunately out again with an upper body injury, still dealing with some of those post-concussion syndrome issues. And we'll dive into those a little bit later. Kaiser, thanks for joining us, man. What's going on? We're back. Hopefully we're going to continue this thing every week. We love having you guys on. So hopefully we'll keep that going and go from there. But before we go any further, let's talk about let's thank our sponsor, Willow Seasonings and Blends. Without their support, none of this would be possible. So please go to willowseasonings.com and check out all their delicious blends. Put a little spice in your life with a variety of flavors, from their sweet heat to the feisty lime. I'm particular to the feisty lime and their salt, pepper, garlic dry rub myself. So.
Yeah, the feisty lime has definitely been a good addition. I've really enjoyed that stuff. And same, man. Anything with garlic, I'm a happy boy. So
throw it on a steak and sizzle it up, man. That stuff is delicious. I absolutely love it. An amazing product. I'm glad I finally went out and bought some for myself, and it's just amazing. And I'm kind of curious as to this too, is why Kadri and Make. He corrected himself. It's Makar. He did correct himself. See, guys, I'll show you. He corrected himself. We're both scratched tonight, and that's a really interesting question. I don't know if it was possibly something that happened during morning skate or at practice during the warm-ups. Hopefully, Coach Bednar will answer those questions for us in the post-game show, and we'll get some more answers going from there.
Yeah, from what I saw, Kadri is out. It said he was dinged up, according to Bednar. That was after yesterday's practice, and that he was going to be a game time decision. I guess he just isn't feeling 100%, so they don't want to put him out there. And then with Makar, he actually skated to start the warm-ups during like the half-hour warm-ups before the game started. He was out there for about 7 minutes, according to the broadcast, before he went over to the coaches and said, "Yeah, not feeling it. This doesn't feel good." So, yeah, hopefully some more clarity. But from what I've seen, that's what we got so far.
I mean, we got to take into account they're on a 5-game road trip. They're in the middle of this 5-game road trip. Sleeping in those hotel beds is not the same as sleeping in your nice, comfy bed at home. So, whether it's a small tweak in the back, small tweak in the legs, whatever it's going on, I rather than play it a little safe and let those guys be healthy. You have a couple big games coming up in the coming week. One of those games being the New York Rangers, who are red hot atop in the Metro Division. And with that, let's jump into our standings across the NHL right now. And we'll start with the Metro Division, since the Rangers are on the schedule. Across our ticker across the bottom, you have it there. The Washington Capitals doing their things with 34 points, leading that division. New York Rangers right behind them with 33. Carolina, 31. Pittsburgh, there's a big drop-off into fourth place right there. Pittsburgh at 25. Columbus and New Jersey clinging on, and Philadelphia and New York bringing up the rear. The Islanders struggling this year, only 13 points. I mean, it's kind of crazy to see where they're at right now.
Yeah, that was one. I think back to the kind of preseason show that we had, or like right when the season started, and Kenny was asking us what we thought of the Rangers and the Islanders. And man, do we have that wrong?
Oh yeah, seriously.
But man, I was not expecting this. I didn't think the Rangers were going to be any better. I really didn't see them adding anybody. And heck, they added Patrick Nemeth. Like, what team is going to get better when adding Patrick Nemeth? So it was like I don't see this really happening, but Yeah, they've proven us wrong. They've figured out a way to win.
Rangers were a wild card team last year, making it in. Islanders were just outside, just a little bit. But I figured both these teams would kind of compete and be better. But we're only a couple months into the season. It's only December 4th right now. Some of these teams will bounce back, and a perfect example. We'll dive into those in a little bit second with the Pacific and Central Division standings. But I want to touch on the other Eastern Conference teams right now with the Atlantic Division. And, of course, Florida has just been red hot at home. Going into Florida and trying to beat them on their home ice is damn near impossible right now for anybody in the NHL. And this comes after the big news at the beginning of the year with the resignation of head coach Joe Quenneville with the Chicago Blackhawks issues. So they continue to flourish without him. He's really set something up there, and his assistant coaches, which have stepped up into the head coach position, have really kept this team focused on the prize, which is to beat Tampa Bay, which currently sits third in the Atlantic Division. But the surprise to me here is Detroit, 27 points. I mean, it can't be a surprise, with their GM, with the amazing ability of their GM, who came from Tampa Bay and moved up there and is revitalizing Detroit Red Wings as a legitimate franchise again. So,
yeah, no, you're absolutely right. The thing that really gets me with Detroit is the just insane play by their rookies in Moritz Seider and Lucas Raymond. I mean, those kids are just absolutely lighting up this league,
tearing it up.
And it's it's funny. To me, it continues to speak on the issue that I've brought before of the fact that the NHL is a young man's league. This is no longer a Chris Pronger playing until he's 42 and still almost winning Stanley Cups every year, and no longer Chris Chelios playing until he's like 45. Like that's not how this works anymore. Yeah. This is 18 and 19-year-old kids are sitting on top of scoring leaderboards. I mean, it's absolutely nuts what these kids are doing. And good on Stevie Y, who you were talking about. I mean, he has gone into Detroit, where he played his entire career, and has just absolutely turned that team into something scary. We were laughing about Detroit here just a couple years ago because they thankfully took the reins away from Colorado as having the worst season in NHL history. And we were like, of course it was Detroit. Yep. Go figure. Awesome. Thanks, guys. And here they are. Now we're kind of looking at them like, ooh, I don't know that I actually want to be going up against them head to head. Those are going to be some fun games. I'm excited for them.
Those are going to be some amazing games. You're talking about, scoring leaders in Lucas Raymond and Moritz Seider. Lucas Raymond currently leads all rookies with 22 points, 10 goals, 12 assists. And Moritz Seider on the other side of it has 14 assists. And looks like he's got, I don't know, I can't find it, 2 goals. 2 goals, but he's an assist. He's an assist guy.
He's a defenseman. I mean, that's insane. Again, as a rookie defenseman to have 14 assists right now is that's wild. Absolutely wild. The kids are just nuts.
It's damn impressive in my point. And I mean, you're talking, Moritz Seider is sitting on the defenseman, the top 10 leaders right now in defense with 14 assists. Adam Fox has 19. He's got more assists than our guy, Cale Makar. Cale Makar is up there in points with 21, but most of Makar's have come from, from his goals. 10 goals, 11 assists. So quite impressive for a rookie defenseman, especially in a place like Detroit, which is being revitalized with Steve Yzerman up there. So I'm highly impressed with it. Yeah. Not to mention their goaltender that they have, Alex Nedeljkovic, who they picked up from the Carolina Hurricanes. Sorry, I tried to speak too fast and caught myself swallowing my own tongue there.
That's how it works with that name, man. It's
a mouthful.
It really is. Yeah, no, exactly. And it was funny too because he kind of started off a little slow, and everyone went, "Oh, maybe this wasn't the trade that everybody thought it was going to be." And then it was just like, "Oh no, that's right. This is how I win games." And just
building team chemistry is what it takes. And Steve Yzerman, I guarantee, as a GM, is talking to his coach. He's like, "Follow the plan, follow the system. It worked in Tampa Bay. It's gonna work here." So, an amazing job by Detroit. I'm really happy to see them rebuilding themselves because honestly, I want Avs fans, the rivalry is not there anymore, but anytime these two teams meet up, it brings out that juice, that energy that people want to really see that rivalry renewed, even though we only see them twice a year. Right. I mean, I'd love to see Detroit go into, the Stanley Cup playoffs and make it to the finals from the Eastern Conference, and the Avs be there from the Western Conference, and we finally get a full, potential 7-game series of both these teams, making some new history. That would be fantastic.
Oh, it would. It really would, especially in that situation. I mean, yeah, we lose them as a team that we play 8 times a year. But yeah, we now gain the potential of that could be a Stanley Cup final. And that to me feels so much better. And yeah, while it's unfortunate that we lose that continuous rivalry, it's fine. We have other ones that we can deal with. But man, talk about a rivalry that could start because of the Stanley Cup. Like that would be amazing.
That'd be amazing. The rest of that series, that division, Boston sitting in 5th with 24, Buffalo 19, continuing to struggle after finally trading Jack Eichel to the Vegas Golden Knights. Montreal, who we just played 2 nights ago, at 14 points, and Ottawa's at 11 points right now. So Ottawa's really struggling, but Brady Tkachuk was just named their captain, so hopefully they'll start seeing some stuff going on there, and they kind of renew that energy. Before we get to the Central Division, let's take a look at the Pacific Division. I want to save the best division for last. And yes, I did that on purpose. All right, Pacific Division standings currently. Calgary and Edmonton sitting on top. Calgary has really shot out of the gate here, Greg, and 35 points, one of the top teams in the league. This team looks dangerous.
Yeah. And for them, to me, it's interesting. It kind of comes from places that you weren't really expecting. A lot of us expected it to come from, the offensive talents of people like Johnny Gaudreau, Mangiapane. There's a couple out there that is like, oh, okay, this is what will carry them. No, they have more shutouts than anybody in the league. Jakob Markstrom and I just had his name, the backup we were talking about the other day. But
I'll get it.
Yeah, they have. They have more shutouts than anybody else, and so it's kind of a situation of it doesn't matter who's in net for them. They have just been playing fantastic. There was a streak where Jakob had three shutouts in 4 games, and that's just absolutely nuts. So to have that coming from a team,
Dan Vlader.
Yeah, that's right. Yep, yeah, Dan Vladar.
Or Vladar, yeah. Sorry,
yeah,
butchered that one.
But yeah, and it's just it's interesting to see because that was a team that last year really struggled, and especially in net, which was wild because they signed Jakob Markstrom to this really big deal coming out of Vancouver after the couple years that he had there, just playing fantastic. And so for him to struggle last year was like, oh no, maybe it's not a situation of it's him. It might just be the system in Vancouver. But then he has come out this year and proven that wrong. So yeah, a lot of surprise from that team.
You're talking about Jakob Markstrom. He's 31 years old. He's got 10 wins, 4 losses, 18 games started, 176 goals against average, and 939 save percentage, with 5 of his wins being shutouts.
Yeah,
that's impressive.
Yeah.
And Dan Vladar on the other side, when he gets his starts, let me take a look at this real quick for you. He's only 24 years old. He's started 6 games. He is perfect, 5-0-0, a 178 goals against average with a 939 save percentage, and 2 of his 5 wins being shutouts. So 7 shutouts so far for the Calgary Flames. Just super impressive what they've been able to do in Calgary and bringing this team back together. And I'm loving Mangiapane. I've got him on my fantasy team, and he does me well on a night-to-night basis. But Kaiser, who's also on the fantasy, he's going to be going, and he brings this up. He's not going to lie. Avs goaltending has been pretty pathetic, regardless of how many games we have been winning. Yeah, it's not idealistic. Darcy Kemper is struggling at times, but was finding his groove up until the injury. I was really looking forward to him playing. And going into that Toronto game, we kind of got hammered, but I was in that mindset this was going to be a difficult game, being as we hadn't seen Toronto in a couple of years. And we'll dive in more on that. Let's finish up the standings talk, and we'll dive into that game and more.
Yeah.
But yeah, totally crazy. Edmonton's up there, 32 points. Of course, the duo of Draisaitl and Connor McDavid are lighting up the scoreboard. Both leaders, I think, top 5 in points right now. I think 1 and 3 is where they're sitting. Let me double check that. Oh no, they're sitting 1-2 now.
1-2. Yeah.
Draisaitl 43 points, Connor McDavid 42, and yeah, we're only 2 months into the season, guys.
Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, they're almost at 2 points per game. That's just absolutely unreal.
That's absurd.
Yeah. It's an interesting situation there, seeing them, pulling off what they're pulling, but they've kind of been doing this every year for the past couple seasons, where they do really well in the regular season. Those two are
they're like us with the playoffs.
Stuff,
they can't get out of the first round.
Yeah, I mean they're in a big time situation that I feel like with Toronto, especially after them kind of whooping our butts 8-3. I feel like a lot of people are looking at these two teams going, "Oh man, this could be it." Let's talk in the playoffs. And obviously I know that's not really fair to them. If they're doing wonderful things in the regular season, good on them. However, that's been their Achilles heel. They've been two of the top teams the last couple of years, but just cannot figure it out once it comes down to the important times. So we'll see what happens.
Definitely, and I'm looking forward to see. I want to see if Edmonton can actually push past that boundary, because if they can't push past that boundary, what happens with these star players? What happens with this salary cap rollover? I mean, what are they going to do?
All right.
So next in the Pacific Division, you have the Anaheim Ducks, who are actually look fantastic, have been revitalized, and they're doing it with some young talent, which is also impressive. And right behind them, you have the San Jose Sharks at 27. But I mean, this is wow. I think I just saw our goaltender Johansson just got ran into. Net came off. That's why I had to stop for a second. But 2 minutes in, almost 2 minutes into the second period here, still tied up at 2. But San Jose and Anaheim are both two teams that are really pushing. But here's the interesting thing: Vegas is sitting in 5th place. This was the team that many analysts, writers, fans were like, "Oh, they're going to win the division hands down, regardless." I mean, we could slowly see this discrepancy between Calgary and their continuously streak, and Edmonton with their ability to score points at will, push and push and push. And if Vegas can't keep pace with them, they're going to fall. Yeah. How far they fall is dependent on the ability of the other teams around them. I mean, Seattle and Vancouver are still struggling. They're both sitting 7th and 8th in this league. And Los Angeles is missing a lot of key parts due to injuries as well. And they haven't been able to really get going with their young depth.
Right. And it's interesting to see, because in a lot of ways, it's kind of like what's going on here in Colorado. They just keep losing key players. Pacioretty was out for a long time.
They awarded Stützle the goal.
Interesting decision.
We'll see what happens there.
Interested to see a replay on that.
Oh, here we go, real quick. We're gonna give us just a second. We're watching the Avalanche game live. Ooh, that is tough right there. Interesting.
Yeah, I didn't even see that puck coming across until the net was already off. Yeah, from up above. No, that was well
that's
off.
That's not a goal. The puck's off. Net's off its moorings. How's that a goal? You saw the same shot I did.
Yeah.
Net's off its mooring before the puck even crosses. He needs to challenge that one.
Yeah, he does. Absolutely. Yeah, the net wasn't even there before the puck even got to the red line. So interesting decision. But yeah, we'll keep you guys updated, see what happens there with that call. Yeah, anyway, Vegas is kind of in the same situation Colorado's in, which is, kind of intriguing, because like you said, as they're the two teams everyone's like, oh, these are the Stanley Cup favorites easily, is Colorado and Vegas. And it comes down to the fact that, yeah, we've each team has been missing key pieces and hasn't really just had that flow yet of being able to say, okay, everyone's healthy, everyone's here for a minute, we can actually put a good run together. The Avs have gotten lucky and have started doing that in the past month, over the month of November, and with the win in the last game against Montreal. Hopefully it continues, but yeah, Vegas just really hasn't gotten their legs underneath them and been able to keep everybody together. With Pacioretty being out for long periods of time, Mark Stone being out for long periods of time. So just, it kind of comes down to it. let's see what happens when these teams are actually healthy and can start putting some wins together. And if they start struggling, then there might be trouble in paradise. And same thing here in Colorado. And that's something we'll definitely talk about here in a little bit. But yeah, it just comes down to having your key players play like key players and actually be on the ice. So
Big Hirsch chiming in. How the on our message me. Gotcha. How the F is that a goal?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. That's a strange one.
I don't know. Did they finish the challenge? Or they?
Wow, they confirmed it. They confirmed it. The net was off the moorings before the puck even got to the red line. That's weird. That's weird.
Oh my goodness, that is terrible officiating. Yeah, by Toronto there, man. I can't agree with that. That's just terrible. Yeah. If the Avs lose this game, Bednar is going to be red hot.
Yeah.
All right. Just wrapping up the Pacific Division and getting a little sidetracked there with a goal that was allowed that shouldn't have been. Let's jump into the Central Division standings real quick and look over this. Minnesota continues to lead 33 points. They're the only team in the Central Division with 30-plus points. But you have the St. Louis Blues right behind them, Dallas Stars at 26, Winnipeg sitting at fourth at 26. But Winnipeg is struggling right now, so hopefully the Avs can win this game, jump over them. We could potentially jump up to third today because I think I don't know if Dallas is playing tonight. Let me double check. Wild are playing and leading the Maple Leafs 2-0. Preds are playing. Blackhawks are playing. Nope. No Winnipeg, no Dallas tonight. So if the Avs can get a win, we'll jump up into third place. Play some leapfrog right there. But again, looking at the standings, the Avs are sitting in the same position as the Vegas Golden Knights at fifth in their division, with Nashville tied with 25 points, Chicago and Arizona 18 and 12 points respectively. So the Avs continue to deal with these injuries. Nathan McKinnon missed the first 2 games with COVID, came back against at Washington. We got blown out 6-3. Then, played a few games, went on with another injury. The Avs had their little run of success. Now they're trying to get that back going again after getting decimated by Toronto 8-3. And then we're still dealing with injuries. Darcy Kemper's out, Ryan Murray's out, Cale Makar, Bowen Byram, Kadri's out. So you're dealing with a rash of injuries, and you're having young players come up and fill these roles and everything. But the Avs continue to work through these issues, and I think Coach Bednar has really done a great job at keeping to the philosophy of the team, being like, hey, just do this, this, and this, and we'll succeed. Some of these games aren't going to be pretty. We're not going to blow out every team and put up 6 goals per game, but just chip away at them. And, I don't think we've played but one game against Minnesota. Mm-hmm. We've only played St. Louis twice, I think.
We played St. Louis twice.
So we lost games against them. We've only played Dallas once, and we've yet to play Winnipeg.
Yeah.
So there's still a lot of division games that the Avs have to play, and those could be 4-point swings all the time.
Right, and that's just going to end up being huge because when I was just looking at Minnesota's schedule, they might be on top of the division. They haven't really been playing many people that they should be challenged by.
No, they haven't been playing tough. But here we go. Morris scores for the Ottawa Senators.
Oh no, a little bit ahead of me. So.
Ottawa's up 4-2.
Yep. Dang it. But yeah, their schedule has been relatively easy. And, it's the NHL. None of it's easy. But, they've played a lot of teams that have been struggling. They've had games against LA, Winnipeg, Vancouver, Seattle, Ottawa, Arizona. We haven't even seen Arizona yet this year. Nope. So, that right there would already help. Vegas, they played Seattle twice. San Jose. And the thing is, too, is when they've played teams that are doing well. When they played Florida, they lost to Florida. When they played Tampa Bay, they lost to Tampa Bay. It's granted they're up.
We're seeing Eustace and Noonan come into this game.
Oh,
They are pulling Jonas Johansson and putting Justus and Noonan into the game.
All right.
This is what I have been waiting for. I thought they should have started him this game.
Mm-hmm. Same.
This is the 2018 third round pick, 64th overall from Finland. He's the AHL first star of the month in November. Does amazing for the Eagles. Let's see what this 20-year-old can do at the NHL level. Hopefully the Avs can turn it around in this game. Let's get some, as Mark Mosier says, some justice.
The
it's Eustace, buddy. Sorry, I have to say it. I get the play on words, but it just doesn't fit.
Yep.
But yeah, hopefully I'm really interested in this game now.
Yeah, all right. All right, we're wrapping up, guys. We'll see you later.
All right, see you guys later. We're done. See you. We're gonna go. No, but it's definitely gonna be interesting to see how Minnesota does when they play some more difficult teams. Same with St. Louis and Dallas. They've been kind of given the easy schedule to begin the season. Not to say that the Avs have been handed, a golden apple either. I mean, and like you said, it's the NHL. Every team's, these are professional athletes being paid a fair amount of money to do this sport. Not as much as, what Max Scherzer is going to make for the New York Mets, $30 million a year, if they have a season. Who knows? But we'll see what happens from there.
Yeah. I mean, this is a perfect example of it. We're currently losing to a team that has 11 points on the year, 4-2. So, sports can go anyway. That's why we watch them, because anything can happen. But yeah, it helps when your season has been pretty much dominated by lesser teams that you can kind of beat up on, as Minnesota has been gifted. So
that look on Johansson's face.
Yeah.
Did you see it?
Mm-hmm.
He just looked like Sean. He's like, I can't believe it.
Poor guy.
I mean, Johansson was not to be the answer for the Avs. He wasn't even supposed to be on the roster, guys. It was supposed to be Pavel Francouz and Darcy Kemper. Yeah. Pavel Francouz is currently down with the Eagles. They lost last night 3-0. They get started here in about half an hour or about an hour. So if you want to drive up to Loveland and catch a game, I believe it's Pucks for Paws night at the Budweiser Event Center. So head on up there, get your tickets, take your dog, have a great time. Possibly get to see Pavel Francouz play tonight as well, as he continues his Kaiser's right. We're missing some of our biggest point producers tonight as well. So the Avs have to find a way to adapt and overcome, and hopefully they can do that. But the Eagles get underway. Colorado Eagles playing Loveland Budweiser Event Center. They get going here in about an hour. Check them out if you can. Very entertaining group of players down there as well, and some of them we'll even see up here with the Pro League in the coming months, possibly.
Yeah. Right. Let's go ahead and talk about this. How Kaiser brought up earlier of the Avs goaltending, which you did just kind of touch on with, this wasn't supposed to be the situation. Johansson was never supposed to be a starter. He's just, again, wasn't even really supposed to be on the roster. He would have been third string, if anything, if they hadn't just decided that a Noonan was going to be third string if anything happened to Darcy or Frankie. So it's, it's an interesting situation that the Avs find themselves in, that, Darcy, it still feels like, it feels like, to me anyway, that he has gotten the feet underneath him. He's kind of developed that connection with, the rest of the team. The chemistry has started to get there. And unfortunately, we just weren't able to see it really come to fruition with him suddenly being injured. That this really would have been the time to see that. Could he go out on the road and win us, 4 out of these 5 games? That would have really been the thing to say, hey, Darcy's here and he's serious. Unfortunately, we're not getting to see that. And we haven't seen Frankie now for over a month. Actually longer, I believe.
We haven't seen Frankie play a game of hockey at the NHL level since the conclusion of the 2019 season.
Yeah, and they're up in the bubble. So, it just, it's unfortunate. It's very easy to say that, the Avs goaltending hasn't been there. It hasn't been good. It's been pathetic. But, the issue is that it's not what it was supposed to be. It was supposed to be Darcy and Frankie, and that's not who's there. So, You
The
know,
Avs goalie injury curse continues. Yes,
100%.
it does.
100%.
It's been an ongoing thing. This goes back to David Abashir and Craig Anderson. Semyon Varlamov was the savior that came in after the years of Craig Anderson, and played well, and got his contract extension. No sooner he gets his contract extension, boom, hip injury, groin injuries, double hip surgery, all this other stuff.
Yeah.
And that led to the deterioration of people willing to just sit back and, accept it. Fans got tired of, inconsistent goaltending. So, they go out and they find Pablo Francouz, who was playing overseas in Europe, and they signed him to a, J.S. Jaguar, Kaiser's right. Jaguar's another one of them. I loved Jaguar when he was here. I honestly, like, I'm a goalie nerd. So, like, I'm surprised I don't have a jersey of every single goaltender that's come through the Avalanche organization. Kaiser, you may have misspelled it, but I totally understood where you were going with it, man. So don't worry about it. But it's been an ongoing issue. So Kemper's been brought in. He's supposed to be I think he was supposed to split time with Francouz, and Francouz got injured in preseason and during an exhibition game with that high ankle sprain, which as a goaltender is no joke. For any hockey player, it's no joke. It takes a while to heal. It's just not going to go the way you want it to. But I truly enjoy the tandem, and I think that's the way the NHL goes now. Is you need that solid tandem. The one exception probably being the Tampa Bay Lightning with Andrei Vasilevsky. I mean, his backup hardly gets any playing time. He might play 10 games of the season.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it helps having the prototype of what you want every goaltender to be in Vasilevsky. It's just, that's not the situation for a lot of places. And unfortunately, we also have to look at the fact that, Kemper, as much as I love him, he's hands down been one of my favorite goaltenders over the last decade. He's had his issues lately with injuries, much as, again, the Avs kind of been cursed with that. And the hopes was that he would come here and not have issues. But, the reality of the situation is he hasn't played a full season in, I believe, 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
So
I agree with Kaiser. It's rare to see a goaltender play more than 60 games, but if somebody's going to do it, I'm putting my money on Andrei Vasilevsky.
Yeah.
But speaking of other injuries, let's talk about one that brings to question the possibility of long-term IR, and that is Bowen Byram. Bowen Byram continues to battle with post-concussion syndrome issues. So I asked you this question, Gregor. We've talked about it in the past. I think we touched on it a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Should the Avs look at placing Bowen Byram on the long-term injury report?
Yeah, I absolutely believe so. The issue that we're running into right now is like what we had with Connor Timmins. He's just a phenomenal player. He's extremely headstrong, and the fact that he will not duck away from anything, he won't back out of anything. The dude's going to jump into literally everything, and unfortunately, it ends up taking its toll. And so what you end up running into is, we have touched on this in the past. I believe in coming back at 100%. I don't believe in, I feel good. I think I'm okay. Let me, I'm a hockey player, so I'm going to go out and play. No, man, get your health in order. Like, this is something that is extremely serious. Concussions, as has been proven now for a long, long time, they're nothing to mess with. They're not a joke. They're not anything to kind of scoff away like we used to do. I mean, I remember growing up, God, players are getting concussions all the time. And it was like, oh, they're fine.
Shake it off. It'll be okay. We'll get some water.
Yeah. A concussion. Oh, it's not like you broke a leg, No, just had something that's honestly in a lot of ways more serious, So it's something that very much has kind of taken the, center stage of players' health, and especially with more and more coming out about mental health. This is something that as a 20-year-old kid, he does not need to be dealing with. This is something that he should absolutely be put on long-term injured reserve. Let him heal. Let him get his head back, get his life back. There's more and more coming out every day of treatments that can help with concussion symptoms. let him go through this stuff. Let him heal. That's the biggest thing. And I understand that, he's a hockey player. He's probably fighting it like crazy. I'm sure he is saying as often as he can, I'm fine.
Mm-hmm.
And the reality of it is you have to take it day by day. But, it's something that I truly believe that, the more that we study it, the more that we figure it out, the better we can do for these players. And hopefully it'll come to fruition that he can come back 100% someday. And I want to see him do that.
I want to see him at 100%. I want to see him completely healthy. And I've said it in the past. Bowen Byram is the replacement for Eric Johnson on this blue line, in this defensive room. The same type of build, same type of mentality, does very well defensively in his own zone and clearing out of the puck and getting it to teammates for breakaway chances or rushing opportunities. So I like his style of play, but he can't do that if he's dealing with any amount of the PCS issues. And when we talk post-concussion syndrome issues, guys, it's the quick eye movements. It's not about him smashing his head against a board. That can cause another concussion and stuff. And he's more prone to concussions with having PCS. But the big issue is, especially when it comes to hockey, is the quick eye movements, the pace of the game, and everything else. Him spinning his head around to look and find where his teammates are. And it causes extreme vertigo issues. You can lose your balance pretty easily. And to skate at this speed and this intensity, and you're taking hits, it's going to take a toll on his body overall. Most often, his brain and his vision. There's a reason why Matt Calvert isn't in the league anymore. He was dealing with PCS issues. There's a reason why he went to a tinted visor. I wouldn't be surprised to see Bowen Byram eventually move to a tinted visor to kind of help with some of the issues. But Kaiser's right. Vertigo and massive migraines is the issue. Great. Here we go. But it's something that's going to take the Avalanche looking at it long term and being like, look, he's one of our long term pieces. We want him to be here. Let him go to the long term IR, and we'll move on from there. I'd rather him sit out most of the season, like Nikita Kucherov, and then come back in the playoffs and help us out in the playoffs. And let Jacob McDonald get some time with the team playing defense or whatever the case may be. Let's just see what happens. But for me, I'm with you, Greg. I'd rather see Bo Byram get 100% healthy, take time to go through some therapies and some other things, and slowly work his way back to this instead of being like, I feel okay. I want to skate. Mm-hmm. Put him on long-term IR, let him skate in a red non-contact sweater, whatever the case is, and work his way back to it until he's 100% healthy. I don't know what the case is for the NHL. Like, I know concussion issues in the NFL, you have to get cleared by not only the team doctor, but an independent doctor outside of the team's organization. So I would assume the NHL does the same thing, but we don't know that information. I haven't looked it up. Yeah. Here's the other issue that we're talking about, and it's an interesting fact, and I know some NHL fans, some Avalanche fans are probably going to hate us for bringing this up, but let's talk about the Nathan MacKinnon effect here, and we're going to talk about this before I put this piece up, because I want us to talk about it. Is actually, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and put it up. Check the comment real quick. So exactly. Avs have played amazing while Mac was out. So do you think that Mac being back in the lineup has created issues offensively? I don't.
Perfect segue into what we're talking about.
To a degree, it has, Kaiser. And here I'm gonna put it up real quick. The MacKinnon effect. Do the Avs rely too heavily on Nathan MacKinnon when he's suited up versus when he's not? This season so far, not including tonight's game, without MacKinnon, the Avs are 7-1-0, outscoring their opponents 41-20. That's a plus 21 goal differential. With MacKinnon in the lineup, the Avs are 4-5-1, being outscored 38-30 in their games. This does not include the two games that MacKinnon missed with COVID to start the season. This is all other games outside of the injury time that he was gone. He returned against the Toronto Maple Leafs, and we got outscored 8-3. So the overall differential before tonight's game was plus 13 in favor of the Avs. Do we feel, what is it about McKinnon that makes the Avs kind of an underdog in all their games?
Yeah, it's the issue of letting the star player take control, in my eyes. From what I've seen from this Avs team, and we had talked about it before we started, when he came back in Toronto, this team was way too happy to force everything to him. And it ended up turning into costly turnovers, ended up putting him in bad situations. It ended up just really making the team not play like the team that we know and love. When he hasn't been on the ice, they've had to figure out what to do in his absence. And so a lot of people have stepped up, and the team play had skyrocketed. The passing was much crisper. The playmaking ability just took off from everybody. And when you start to put in that, when you put Nathan back into the equation, you end up having to get him the puck. And
there we go. We got a goal. Alex Newhook skating down the center of the ice, putting it up over the shoulder of Forsberg.
Yeah, Logan O'Connor making a huge play at center ice. There we go.
Fantastic goal by the Avs right there.
That's
what a beaut.
Right after a Noonan made a save. So
Newhook feeds it up.
Beautiful.
O'Connor makes a great play at center ice. Newhook follows up behind them, skates between like 3 or 4 Ottawa players, and just top shelf.
Yep.
Fantastic.
Yep, that's what we've been looking for from Alex Newhook. Yep, got through 4 players. 4 players he made miss in order to get that play to happen.
That was fantastic right there. That is a fantastic superstar type goal right there. That's a Connor McDavid goal right there.
That's right. He saw the entire other team and said, "Bring it." But yeah, anyway, to get back to what we were talking about, now that we're nice and juiced and jazzed over that goal, yeah, it turns into the issue that you run into in a lot of high skill football teams. When you have 4 or 5 massive offensive weapons, we have to figure out how to get them all the ball, right? Because otherwise they're just a waste. And so with Nathan McKinnon, you're talking about arguably one of the greatest players on planet Earth. And a lot of people believe number 2 right behind Connor McDavid. You've got to get him the puck. The problem is that you start running into the issue where everybody just wants to get him the puck. Everybody wants to see Nathan do Nathan things, and the team just ends up relying on that a bit too much. And so you run into way too many problems of where someone else should have just made the play. They instead decided, oh, Nathan's out here, let's get him the puck. So it's weird. It's really weird. I'm not sure how to combat that. And it's going to be where Bednar and Sakic really make their money, is to say, hey guys, we know we have Nathan McKinnon. Everybody knows we have Nathan McKinnon. Stop making it about Nathan McKinnon.
Yeah.
Start making this about the fact you guys are the Colorado Avalanche. We have so much firepower. Just do your thing. Stop trying to force him into situations that aren't good for the team.
Yeah, 100%. It's impressive to see what McKinnon can do when the team gels around him.
Mm-hmm.
But what we need the Avs to get away from is being like, here you go, McKinnon. Here's the puck. There's 4 guys in front of you. Do what you do. Because McKinnon will force his way in there, even if he knows he doesn't have the chance to try. And he's trying to draw penalties.
Mm-hmm.
I want the Avs to get away from sending McKinnon in to try to draw penalties. He's got great speed and everything. Utilize that speed around the outside. Swing around to the back of the net. Do whatever you got to do. Draw a player or 2 with you and throw it towards the front. And, less bodies in front of the net means a better chance for us to score goals.
Mm-hmm.
Use McKinnon's speed to pull people away from the net. Because they think everybody turns to him. Everybody gravitates towards him. It's like a black hole. Here's McKinnon. Here's everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
It's use it to your advantage is what I want to see them do. And the perfect example is those 8 games that he missed, 43-20, 43-20. Nazem Kadri, 21 points.
Mm-hmm.
Cale Makar, 5-game goal scoring streak.
Mm-hmm.
Newhook, Nichushkin, all these other people tearing it up. And speaking of Newhooks, Rookie of the month Hockey East is his sister, Abby Newhook, 14 points in 15 games.
Nice.
They just showed it on the TV there. So, I mean, they have to find a way to spread the puck and utilize McKinnon in a different way. I get it. He's great. I love number 29 as much as the next person, but the numbers don't lie.
Mm-hmm.
If you're passing the puck around, you're looking for opportunities, and you continue to skate, and you're not sitting around being mesmerized by your own star,
right?
You're performing better. 43-20.
Right.
43-20 in those 8 games. That's a plus 23 goal differential versus a -8 when McKinnon's on the ice.
Right. And to that point, one of the things that we saw absolutely take off when Nathan was out was the power play. Our power
100%.
play has been struggling when he's been in the lineup, because what does our power play turn into? It turns into Cale Makar bringing it up the ice. Doesn't matter if there's a guy on him or anything at all. Nathan's going to be all the way back in our zone, and he's going to drop it all the way back to our zone for
Speaking
it.
of that, what did I say 2 weeks ago? What should they do with McKinnon on the power play? Put him on the second unit.
Mm-hmm.
Put him on the second unit. You've got a great thing going with that first unit without McKinnon on it. Put McKinnon on the second unit, give him 30, 40 seconds, keep his legs fresh so that you can utilize him in your 5-on-5, your even strength to pull those players away from the net, use his speed, and don't utilize his speed just on the power play. Give him 30 seconds to work with the second unit to try to mix things up, because if the second penalty kills on the ice with our second unit power play, McKinnon's going to draw some attention. And players like Nichushkin or Newhook are going to be wide open.
Mm-hmm.
Give it to them.
Yeah.
Give it to them, and let's see what happens. We just saw what Newhook could do between 4 Ottawa players.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just go out and do it.
Right.
And that's my point.
Yeah. It's interesting. Not too many times would you have anyone saying, "Oh, it's not better when your star player is on the ice," but for the Avs, that's what the season has been so far. So it'll be interesting to see how they combat it, and how Bednar and Sakic make their money here in deciding what to do in order to, kind of break into that. And yeah, when you have the greatest player, arguably the greatest player on the planet, you got to be able to use him in a proper way. And the Avs have
going to the penalty box.
Yeah, he tripped a guy.
Oh,
yeah,
that was a love tap
coming around the net, stick in the skates. But yeah,
McKinnon laying somebody out, man.
Yeah, it's an interesting phenomenon. And I don't know anybody in Edmonton that's going, "Oh, the Oilers are better without McDavid."
News update: Ovechkin has tallied his career goal 750 tonight, going up against the Columbus Blue Jackets. He scored that at 3:12 of the second period. That puts him. Where is it? I had it. I got to find it again. But that puts him, I think, 16 goals behind third place all time. Skater records, goals. Yes, that puts him 16 behind Jaromir Jagr for third all time.
Wow.
He is climbing the points. My question for Kaiser is, was it a power play goal?
Does it break that record?
It was.
Yeah.
I do not think it was a power play goal. I think it was just a goal.
Absolutely insane.
The dude's impressive.
Yeah. Here I am going, "Oh, it's a young man's league. It's a young man's league. It's all about the young kids."
Ovechkin, hold my vodka.
Yeah. Exactly. Bring it down. I show you.
Career goal 750 for Alex Ovechkin tonight puts him. He's in control of fourth place overall in the record book by himself at 750. He passed Brett Hull, which was at 741. Like I said, 16 goals, I should say, behind Jaromir Jagr to tie third all time. chasing Wayne Gretzky, who's got 894 career goals. So quite the way to go. Hopefully we'll see what happens moving forward. All right. We're getting to the tail end of our show tonight. I think we beat the Nathan McKinnon effect to death on this one. Hopefully the Avs can figure a way out to figure this out. And 7:20 left in the second period. Avs are down 5-3 right now, 2 goals down. Hopefully they find a way to bounce back in this game without a lot of their star power tonight. Maybe Newhook gets his first career hat trick. Who knows? We'll see what goes on there. But let's take a look at the upcoming games for the next week. These are the 3 games on the schedule before we see you guys next Saturday, same time, 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. You have the game on Monday, the 6th of December against the Philadelphia Flyers. Philadelphia is kind of struggling, so maybe this is a game where we get some bounce back. Who knows if we'll see Pavel Francouz jump up and join the team or not. I still feel we might get another week of Pavel Francouz down with the Eagles before he truly gets back to the NHL caliber he's ready. We know he's capable of playing at. Mm-hmm. That guy hasn't played an NHL game in over 2 years, people. So believe me when I say condition away, we'll be here when you get here. Mm-hmm. Even with our goalie injuries. Ovi is the second youngest player behind Gretzky to score 750 career goals, guys. And he's
makes sense. It's only the 4th one to do it, so he only had to beat out 2 other guys.
4th youngest or 2nd youngest, and he's what, 40?
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah. On December 8th, next Wednesday, we go to Madison Square Garden to take on the New York Rangers. That is going to be a difficult game. I expect that one to be hotly contested. Mm-hmm. And then we come home Friday night. Greg, how about you? How do you feel about coming up to go to a game on Friday night?
Dude, that'd be awesome, man. Let's go see Detroit come to town.
Hell yeah, man.
That'd be fun.
I'm going to look into it. I'm going to get us some tickets. So I'm going to reach out to Herschel, see if he's available to come out with us Friday night. Get the boys together, go catch a game. We can hit up some fans, get some comments and some thoughts of some other people ahead of our show on Saturday night. But Detroit is in town Friday night, December 10th, 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Yeah, Kaiser's looking for tickets himself. So, Kaiser, let us know what you find, man. If you find something cheap, I can Venmo you, and we'll get the group together and go catch a game. But these are the next 3 games coming up on the schedule. Me personally, I'm looking at a possible 2-1 record here. My thorn in the side being the Rangers. Mm-hmm. But we'll see what happens there. A lot of injury issues.
Yeah, and that's what's going to be really interesting about this is, the fact that we have Kadri out tonight for, again, as Bednar said, being dinged up. Does that mean that he's just, kind of getting some rest in this game? Is this a situation where they were looking forward in the schedule and saying, okay, we're facing Ottawa tonight. They have 11 points. Granted, they just beat Carolina, who's one of the best teams in the league. Oh, good job, Eustace. Fantastic saves there. They just beat Carolina, so clearly they know what they're doing, but this is a team that's been struggling. This is one of those games you can kind of risk saying, all right, let's keep Kale out. Let's keep Kadri out. Let's not force this one. So that everybody kind of heals up and can be closer to 100% for that big game in Madison Square Garden, because that's really going to be a huge test for this team.
Interesting game.
Yeah. We tried to have that for Toronto, and having Kemper suddenly out of the lineup definitely threw a wrench into that idea. But this is the second attempt to be able to say, all right, what does this team look like going up against a top tier team, while as close to as close to 100% as they could be. So we'll see what happens, but that's my hope anyway, is that this is much more of a situation of like, okay, we can drop 1 or 2 to Ottawa and Philadelphia. Let's focus on how we fare against a team like the Rangers.
Yeah, 100%. And I agree with you there. Makar and Kadri possibly being a little dinged up, not feeling 100% tonight. Let them get the rest against what is supposedly a weaker team in Ottawa. who have played us very well. Oh, missed.
Oh, no.
God, that was so close. So freaking close. Oh, he had him open net and he just shot it wide. Oh, man.
Tyson.
You just see it now, right?
Yep.
Oh, man. That was so close right there.
Dang.
But yeah, rest everybody that you
That's
can ahead of this Rangers game next Wednesday. Possibly see how everybody's feeling once you get into Philadelphia and you get your practice in and everything and go from there. But that's going to about wrap up our show for tonight. We will be back next Saturday for our next episode of In the Crease. Until then, please be sure to follow, like, subscribe throughout the week. You can chat with us through our Twitter accounts. At Avs Cole is myself, and at Dowden the Rights is Greg. Join our group on Facebook at Rocky Mountain Sports Network. You can also listen to us on the platform, Spotify, and a couple of other places. And of course, join us live here and be a part of the conversation. From myself, Scott, and I want to thank you guys for joining us here on the Crease. Greg, again, thank you for such an awesome show, man.
Of course, my pleasure as always.
And as part of the Rocky Mountain Sports Network, we want to thank you guys for tuning in and joining us. Until next time, people, be good people and be safe. Have a great time out there, and we'll see you guys on our next show, which is going to be Saturday next week, 6 p.m. Until then, guys.